Thanks for joining us here with Chris at Car Cave in Aiken, South Carolina. CarCaveUSA.com. Phone number is 803-262-4742. And actually, we are across the street from Car Cave. A great therapeutic horse riding facility called Great Oak. So they allow us to come over here and shoot and enjoy their property. We were just right through the trees over there. So it's a beautiful day, perfect for a full Cabrio 73. So this thing is built, has power, chirps through some gears, full motor rebuild, tons of highlights. It's going to take a while to get through all of them, but we will try. So we'll walk through everything here. We'll show you everything we can. I don't overly prep for these. I just kind of walk through and go off of my mental notes, our build, what we've done to it, what I see visually as we're going through, and talk through the whole thing. So it is good, I guess. Try to be unbiased. I am partial to these 73 Cabrios, so I'm definitely going to be biased there on liking this platform. But we want to show you what you're getting, what you're receiving, that the as delivered is as expected, as built, and you are happy with your purchase. So we don't want to hide anything here. You want undercarriage photos, engine bay, you got my new questions, man, give us a holler. We're accessible. We know Toyotas. We will answer your questions and be thorough. So that's any additional media requests, things like that, we will give you the skinny on it. Does have a hard top. Took the thing off because we're about to roll to Florida tomorrow for a car event. We thought this would be a good setup here, and surprisingly, we have to deliver a customer's hard top, so we're going to put his hard top on, take it to his garage, then take it off to tour the island. Before we get buried in here, if you do need financing, reach out. We work with a variety of lenders. We can get you hooked up. Reach out before they run your credit. We can give you a rundown of qualifications and things you need to do and which one might be a good fit or not a good fit. So we like to discuss that before, and we'll be open about it. All right. So Start Life is a 1992 BJ73 V with a 2.5 VM motor, Spanish market. That's why these are hard to source. Rust free. They usually rust around the rear quarters, inside wheel wells, chassis, windshield frame, inner and outer. So some of the problem areas typically be around the windshield frame here, going across. Same on the inside down here. You can see this one's dry. We decided this vehicle because it's a really good base, and then we put in a 1HD-T. So we did a full motor rebuild, ceramic pistons, HC connecting rods, ARP head studs, head job. We did a green wheel Grunter Turbo, so upgrade there. We did a full dump pipe and then MagnaFlow side exit exhaust so it can breathe pretty easy. Open up the air intake. We did a whistle and soot intercooler. So the kit wasn't exactly bolt on. I think the instructions were 140 steps, and we still had to do some mods because we have air conditioner in there. So with the AC condenser and the intercooler, you can see the tight fit, but it actually gives it this cool appeal. And we kept the logo. Dude does good work. Game knows game. So we wanted to make sure, we didn't want to scrub his name off of it. Superb work. It just fitting it with a left-hand drive, modified motor, the whole shebang. It was interesting getting it to fit in there, but she all fits like a glove now. You can see the new AC condenser, the aluminum radiator back there. We have a front Ironman bumper, integrated lights in the bumper, and also Smitty built winch with a smooth fair lead there. That is the XRC model. Then you have, going underneath, like I said, I'm just walking through and we're talking as we see it. You have your Old Man Emu steering stabilizer. And then we did Old Man Emu lift springs actually came on it. We added a shackle. And then we did, because the taller lift, everyone said, well, you put some Ranchos on a Toyota. Apparently, you Toyota guys don't like Ranchos, but they had the length that we needed, so we're able to fit a pair of adjustable Rancho RS 9000 on it. I thought it was a good play. So this is the first time we've tested it. It wasn't out of budgetary concerns. It was nothing, but we went extended height with a 2-inch lift spring, went with shackles. Then we had a shock that actually has the length requirement that we need. Instead of pairing it to an Old Man Emu Dobinson or something that is available, we went with the longer shock. So unique suspension setup. There are greasable pins on the shackles. You have a 295 Geolander, the Geolander MT Geo3s on a 17-inch, that's a FJ Cruiser wheel. If I remember correctly, we went through the front axle. You'll have to check me on my records and my notes and everything that we have, so I'll have to go back through them on, you know, the service side of what we did over there. Usually we go through the hubs and front axles. It's pretty typical. Nobody likes to do those. You can also tell it's a full Cabrio model because these nice little guys here let the windshield frame come down. So fold it down, you have thumb screws on the wipers, back off the thumb screws, and then you have little turn nuts here. So without tools, you're supposed to be able to pop off the caps here, thumb screws, fold down. It does require, there's a lateral, you know, horizontal bar that connects this back roll structure. I like these with the roll cage integrated. I like the KZJ73s, the HCJ73s. We've stayed away from the BJs just because of the motor requirement being lower. KZJs and HCJs and stuff is where we like to swim. So continuing on there, the original finish is this color, so that it wasn't a Bordeaux. Bordeaux, man, my pronunciation's terrible. I apologize. You know, like a deep red. So that was original. You can see our exhaust work coming off. You can see the brand new shocks. And the springs, I pulled the coating. One of them was marked for Old Man Emu. If you want to know the stiffness level or heavy duty, we can pull that. Gear ratio is pretty low. I think it was a 4.66. I know it's in my write-up, so look back over there, a 4.77. It was real low because of the original VM motor. So we wanted to go taller on the lift because the gears, you can run about 70 before you're at the top of the RPM, where you don't want to overrun the thing. So you could go a little bit taller tire or a re-gear, or leave it and use it just for local driving. I would leave it. I think it's a thing of beauty. I just did a road test. It'll chirp gears. It'll go through them. You can spin some tires out. It'll boost about 30 PSI. You can turn the boost down if you want. It has good power. It moves through the gears. You do have running boards, full-size spare in the back. It feels good driving. It's very receptive, very responsive. It feels good. You have a place to put ball in the back. And a lot of people get confused on the taillights. So the taillights, these two down here, are the road requirement for Euro. Here, that one is actually a rear fog lamp, Euro requirement. This one's blacked out, supposed to be non-functional. And then you have the reverse lights and your side corner lights. So everyone's like, hey, lights don't work, and that one doesn't have anything. That's actually how it's factory built. So European market thing. You do have aftermarket speakers, a little built-in woofer, I think a newer Panasonic Pioneer deck in there with some speakers. So you do get some sound output. Let's fire this baby up. Air conditioning, if I forgot to mention that. The boost gauge, we did not intend on leaving. We were doing that for tuning, see where we're boosting. EGT gauge, yes, we did, so you can check EGTs. We're running that before we did our intercooler install. So that was check EGTs, and we feel a lot better running EGT gauge to monitor your exhaust gas temp. So the boost can leave. We left it because if someone likes it, or they want to go to a different one, because I don't think that's all too attractive. That's just me. I don't find it attractive gauge, but we left it in there because it is a gauge where you can read boost. It's just there for tuning, but we can switch it out for you. So little chassis miles, about 130. The motor was a full rebuild. We did the motor, so it is in-house. It's a gauges register. Has a nice note to it. It is 12 volt. You do have power locks, which apparently the vehicles running the door open do not work because they're working for me earlier. Well, that is a strange one. Let's go with the exhaust out. We're gonna come back on those power locks. So I was operating them earlier today. Maybe I'm just not hitting the button right. So a good note. It's not too high of idle. It runs good. We did test the oil pressure with an actual pressure gauge. Since it's a different motor, you gauge cluster and pairing and sensors. You get a little bit of reading at idle on the oil pressure, but we're getting factory spec oil pressure at idle. We tested on our gauges. So So that makes sense because we have a gauge cluster matched to a different sensor with its own reading. It's not going to read perfectly on a factory cluster. Set it off so you can hear me a little bit better. We did do new pipes here. There's a few things. So let me get it off. So if that makes sense on the oil pressure. And if not, call us. We'll explain it. You do have the altimeter, your tilt meter for back and forth, push button, 4-wheel drive here, tilt steering wheel, AC buttons here. It is aftermarket, but that's about as factory looking as you can get. Integrates in all the factory systems there. High 2 and low 4. When you're shifting, you do have a little wear here. We didn't want to take out the original interior. If we need to redo the interior for someone, we can definitely do it. Yeah, I got leaves floating in here. You have some fading too from the seat. Like I said, we want to leave the original interior. You have a rear heater down here, so you can see it in the middle console. But somebody wants to change up the interior. I liked the originality, and nobody's kind of messed with it there. So going underneath the hood, rebuilt injection pump, ceramic coated pistons, HD rods, ARP head studs, full rebuild. Went through everything. You can see your whistling Soot, which what I was telling you, he does really good work there. His welds are on point. Getting all this integrated, fitting the grill, the AC condenser, your aluminum radiator, everything there. We did replace all the pipes off the injection pump, and we're going through and shoring up just different aspects. Upgraded to electric fuel pump because this eats enough fuel if you're in the throttle that with the upgrade build, the Grunter Turbo, that nice little baby down there, and K&N filter, so you're making sure you're sucking in as much air as possible. Put a larger fuel filter and housing so you get a better capacity and flow rate. Optima battery. So everything on the motor, vetted, rebuilt. We went with an upgraded larger clutch to handle all the torque through there. See the codes here. So I'm trying to think of anything else. I've been pretty long-winded here at over 13 minutes. So if I didn't hit it off in this amount of time, you can always ask the questions. I know I'm forgetting something in here. We did a lot of work around the windshield frame, which is important. We're gonna drive this to Florida tomorrow. Your rockers are in good shape. Yeah, we can get it on the lift for you. All your doors. These do remove. These pieces here also remove. And someone put that weather stripping in just on the top underneath there. I don't think that's actually a factory weather stripping piece. I think it was something tucked in. The top has bolts that come up from the bottom. Rear corner one here. There's one that sits here that goes in. There's 4 underneath, and then I think 4 in the header rail if I remember correctly. And I think the boys we just took top off earlier today. It's not a terrible job to do. You have a jack back here. Looks like it's not the original Toyota kit, but you got a little tool kit back there. Now I'm getting attacked by leaves. But yeah, you get the overall idea of the entire vehicle and the build. We can do some driving, but it is outstanding. It's fun to drive. Mechanically, we've sorted it. We've road vetted it. We're about to take off for a 500, actually about 600 mile round trip, road trip plus our weekend driving. But you have questions, my name is Chris. It's at carcaveusa.com, 803-262-4742.